collectors and action figure fans, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the support of my patron TJ, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Earthrise Voyager class Grapple. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel like TJ did, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Optibotimus. For the package, you got that nice Earthrise green motif going on. You got the Transformer text with the Generation logo. So he's part of the War for Cybertron trilogy. Really nice open window that fully showcases him. Come around to the side. Gorgeous image here on the side. Kind of looks like he's standing in front of maybe the Ark. Of sorts, those kind of look like thrusters. I don't know. He's a Voyager class. Bottom has just words. The side here, can't skip the side. This has that absolutely gorgeous image of the Ark crashing down with other characters and things like that here in the back. You got Unicron, Galvatron, and then you come around to the back of the package, you can see that he transforms in 16 steps, and you got images of him in his robot as well as his vehicle form. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright, so here we have Grapple open up out of his packaging, and obviously in his, I don't even know, his vehicle mode. Now there is one very common problem with this figure, and I will address it in a little bit. But overall, I'm really very happy with how this guy looks. I've constantly talked about how, like, a lot of these new Earthrise figures feel like they're miniature versions of the Masterpiece ones, and this is definitely one as well. Even some of the elements for the transformation are similar. First accessories, you can see that he does come with his little claw thing. You got this little clamp piece here in the middle, which allows you to attach it to like Omega Supreme or anything like that. You can also kind of attach it to figures if you have that like kind of dangling down like that. So you do have that little piece. You have a whole bunch of different holes on here that you can attach it to. So I had it here. You can put it there if you want to, but really whatever you want. He also does come with a handgun, which is nice. It's just molded in this black plastic, but looks pretty good nonetheless. And then one other accessory is he does come with his hand spout thingy. When you get out of the package, these are in the actual clamshell. This is attached to the figure, so if you're freaking out about where it is, it's already on here in this location. So that's where you need to look for it. So I'm going to remove that. Overall, pretty decent looking. In some scenes, he had it on his hand. Some scenes, he didn't. So it's kind of personal preference what you want to do and how you want to go forward. I like having it on there, although Inferno also had it. If you wanted to leave that off to give him a little bit more of a distinct look than Inferno, whatever, it's your personal preference. But vehicle mode wise looks really good. You do have the crane here. It's a little bit tricky to get it to articulate. You kind of have to hold this piece down, but it's got a little ratchet thing right here. This can extend up and down. You can have that. You have this little nozzle section here, which obviously is going to come in handy for like Grapple. You can put that on there, and you can even hinge that down so you can have it like so. Hey, look. We can make him like Inferno right now. There. So just get rid of that. They'll probably have to remold that a little bit. You can put the gun there. If no, it doesn't really sit in there. That's just going to fall out. But hey, you can do whatever you want. You can also rotate this around, which is nice. So you do get some articulation in the crane section. You got 4 tires, or 2 tires here, 2 tires on the other side. You got one right here. I do like how they have this section right here where that would come down to allow you to, like a real one, to lift heavier weight. You know, it stabilizes it and such. I mean, that's really cool. I dig that. Color is, I mean, he's pretty orange from the look of it. I mean, he's definitely orange. I like the warning stripes. Got the black color throughout there, which is pretty good. You got a nice silver paint here in the front with some blue translucent bits for the headlights. Blue translucent section here for the windows. Nice Autobot logo right there. For comparison, I apologize to you, TJ. Like I said, I thought that I had the G1 one to show you because I know you are looking for a G1 grapple to add to your collection. I don't have it, so I apologize. But this is the grapple that I've had in my collection for the longest time. This is the Voyager class one from the Generation line. You can see much larger, and you can even see that the color is a lot more muted down. This is more yellowish, whereas this is more of an orange color. Overall, same basic thing. You got the crane section. Obviously, this was also remolded and repainted to give us Inferno, so it's a very common thing. This was a really good figure as well. Now, the question is, do I like this one enough to replace this one in my display? That's difficult, but I will answer that question in a little bit. Now, for the transformation, now this is where I've seen and I've heard a lot of people having problems with it, and to be honest, I unfortunately have experienced the same problem, so I'll be able to illustrate that to you guys. How you can fix it is fairly easy. I didn't do it thinking that, look, it can't be that bad, and then I ended up causing a problem. So first, what I'm going to do is take this whole section and kind of hold this and rotate this up and around. You can see that this piece here kind of hinges, so be careful. You want it all the way up, lock that into place, and you can collapse that down and do what you want with that. Come down here to this bit. Want to lift this up, pull that away from the body very easily. Then these, we're going to split, bring these around. These just kind of friction in on the sides. This one's a little bit looser than this one, but just kind of push those in there. And then rotate these around, and we'll do with the hands here in a bit. Now this is where the problem happens. These bits, you got like this little section right here, which has a peg that goes down into the bottom of the foot to lock this piece into place. Problem is the peg feels like it's too long. So when I wiggled it, this one came out fairly easily, and I was like, oh, okay, that's no problem. I'm trying to see if there's any stress. No, but when I tried to get this one out, you can see what happened. The peg broke. But you can see how long that peg is. That goes down in there deep. I did watch Pia's video, and he shaved it down a little. You really don't need that much on there to go down and lock it into place. You don't need that much. That's probably 2/3 more than you really need. So he shaved that piece down, and he didn't have any problems. Like I said, I'm a dumbass, and I'm like, oh, I can do it. It didn't work. So now I have this piece that doesn't actually attach to it, but when I bring these back down and lock in, it kind of pushes things in, kind of holds this piece into place a little bit, which I'll show here a little bit in a little bit when I go back to the vehicle mode. This one though, now I can just kind of pull straight up. So it is what it is, I guess. Take this, we're going to hinge this up, hinge this down, hinge this up. That all accordions down very nicely. Push that in, and then this comes down. Lock that down into place, and then you can take this and you can bring this down. Take the feet. These are on a couple different hinges. Just double hinge that back to create it. And luckily it was fairly flush, so it doesn't create too much of a rise in the foot, so it doesn't make him stand kind of weird. Bring these arms down. Now in the cartoon he had his thing in that arm, so I'm going to put that there. These are a little bit tricky to get to rotate. Just kind of force it a little bit. There's his hand, and just this is not in the instructions, but I like doing it because otherwise you just have his head like looking at you. But rotate that around, and there you have Grapple in his really cool looking robot mode. So despite the fact that I feel like those pegs are a little bit too long, everything else on this figure I absolutely love. This guy really is a wonderful representation of Grapple. Specifically how he looked in the original G1 cartoon. This just nails it. The only way that they could have made it better is if they found a way to make this piece kind of hide like they did on the Masterpiece one, which I'll show in a bit. But I'm legitimately amazed by this. So let's do the size comparison because why not, I guess. First off, we're going to take a look at the previous Grapple that I had in my collection. And here he is. Very big, very bulky, still a good figure. You can see the color is different, obviously. The crane just sits here on the arm, which was never a really good design, I felt. But there's a difference between what a few years of research and development can do. I also still love that this had this. I'm just going to show this off because I always thought it was fun to have that. And then you can move that. Wait, no, push it forward. Yeah, there we go. And there's his head. That's such a cool gimmick. And then here is that masterpiece one. Obviously, a big size difference between the two, but you can see that the color is a little bit different as well. I mean, it's a little kind of in between. I guess this is very pale. That's a little bit orangish yellow, and then that one's a little bit more orange. So you can see that the color is a little bit different. It's not exact, but I'm okay with it. I think it looks a little bit better than that original Classics one. But the aesthetic is very, very much the same. I do kind of wish that maybe they didn't, I don't know, don't include these and give us that. That would have been cool. Head sculpt wise is fantastic. What's silver here is white, but you can see that the design is pretty much the same really all the way around. I mean, even when you look at the arm sections here, you got like this little bit right here. You got like a little section there. You look at the feet and you have, or the legs, you got these little bits here that this has. You got the tires, you got the little piston thing there. Like I was saying, the only way that they could have made it better, I mean, here's his little butt flap, is if they figured out a way to hide the little crane like they did with him. But obviously, this is a masterpiece figure at a much higher price point than this one, so what they did with him is outstanding. As I said, you do have his gun. You can put that in his hand. Now this doesn't really store anywhere decently. You got these different pieces here. You can put it there, but then like hangs out. I'm not a huge fan of that. You can put it on the side, but then again, it's gonna hang out. You can put it like there, but it's gonna hang out. You can put it there, it's gonna hang out. Wish there was a way that you could hide it. I guess you could put it here. You can plug it into the bottom section here, but then I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. So I don't really see a place where you can kind of hide it decently enough. So there's that. Kind of stinks. One thing that would have been cool, you got like on the little tip here, a little round section. You also have a little hole on that. That would have been cool if they could have put it where you could connect that. That might have made it a little bit better. But the hands you can see you got like the regular hand here, and you can put that in there. This section here obviously still can rotate around, and you have the whole section there. So if you wanted to, you could have that. It's a thing that you can do. So, I don't know. I just don't feel like there's a real good storage place for this, other than plugging it into some of these holes. I don't know. Whatever. First articulation, the head is on a swivel joint. You can rotate that all the way around. This section here doesn't move, but that's locked into place, so you can only get him looking left to right. Obviously, he can't look very far over his shoulders because that piece is in the way. The shoulders here do rotate. The joints are nice and tight, and I love how when you extend this out, you got the little joint section here that fills in that gap. That looks really nice. You can rotate it at the upper part of the bicep. You have hair over 90-degree bend at the elbow, but then again, that same bit here where it fills in that gap. I love how that actually is there. No rotation at the waist. That's just the way that it is. You do have waist rotation, which is nice. Hips move forward and back, in and out. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. Bend on softish ratchet joints there at the knee. Ankles, I guess you could kind of make them walk if you really wanted to. You just kind of separate that joint so you can get a little bit of it. And then you do have the ankle articulation. Not as much coverage like you have up here when you move that arm out that you have here. I mean, it's not terrible. but I started getting used to that, so it is what it is. But overall, great figure. Color, like I said, I think looks good on him. It is passable for me. I like the silver. I like the Autobot logo there. Great figure. No doubt we're going to be getting Inferno at some point in time remolded. It'll be a very similar figure, whereas this is going to be like a ladder. They might redo this piece up here. Maybe you'll put the little wing sections there, and I don't even know how you can do it, but there's that. Can't wait for him as well. Now to transform him back, we're going to remove this, put that off to the side. That hand's already rotated in there, so you don't have to worry much about that. Bring that around like so. This piece here, we're going to extend this up and then kind of pull on one side to loosen it, and then pull the other side, and then just extend that whole thing out just like that. Now I'll show you why I rotate his head here in a second. These bits here, you want to detach, rotate this around, taking this little silver section and putting it into the cavity in the back of his chest, and then rotate this around like so. So this little connector tab is going to be facing the inside. So you rotate that around and then squeeze those two bits together like so. Then take these feet, straighten those out, and then hinge that down thusly. Hinge all that down, and then that's going to sit right there. One thing that I would say is that when you do that, it kind of makes his feet kind of go inward, like the tires. So bring this down now. Like I said, this piece here we're going to push down and lock that into place. On that side, you would, well, maybe just like that. You would do that on that side, but I can't really do that right now. But now, like that, like I was saying, this is going to come down here, and that's going to lock things into place, which is going to be nice. But like I was saying, the head, I like rotating it just so that it hides that face a little bit. So we're going to bring this down, and then you got little posts and holes. Well, the little holes underneath there are going to slide into those posts right there. So bring that in, give that a nice squeeze. There we go. And like I said, that kind of keeps this section in place. I mean, not a ton. I mean, well, I mean, you got to keep that in there, but it kind of holds it there. So, like I said, it's unfortunate that broke, but it's not the end of the world, I don't think. And then take this whole bit here is going to rotate around like so. Snap that down, not that, there we go. Snap that down, you can extend that out like that. And then, like I was saying, it kind of makes like the tires go inward. That's kind of a weird sort of design, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of that. Then you're going to take this, and you got a little section right here that will tab that in. You don't have to do that. It's just a place where that can store. Squeeze everything together, and when you're done, there you have Grapple back in his vehicle mode. But an absolutely stellar action figure. Vehicle mode wise, nails the look for Grapple. It's very simple, but it works beautifully. Transformation is very simple on him, but again, it's effective in doing what it needs to do, and that's getting to a robot mode that looks beautiful. Obviously, this piece here will be replaced for the eventual repaint. You can see like this bit right here will be replaced, and they'll have a little like light bar up there. I'm excited for both of the figures. I think that this just kind of cements that what Hasbro is doing is outstanding. And as you can see, other than the size and the crane being hidden, is a absolutely spot on representation of the Masterpiece one. So that's why I say like these are little mini Masterpiece figures. I cannot recommend this guy enough to you. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one very small thing for me, and that's simply just to hit that thumbs up button. The one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Again, I also want to send a huge shout out to my patron TJ for making this review possible. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a patron, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/optibotimus. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.